Welcome back to Sailing El Jaleo! In real time, today is October 4th, 2023 when I'm recording this. This video will be released tomorrow on October 5th, 2023, and that is Splash Day for El Jaleo. We're finally going to be getting back into the water, so tomorrow's going to be crazy. Splash Day is always a little bit nuts, but hopefully that means on Monday we'll be able to get out of here and start heading south at a decent time this year. And I've got a ton of footage for stuff I've been doing on the exterior, but I don't have time to put together a video today to get it out tomorrow. So I'm sorry, but I'm just going to kind of mail this one in this week. I'm just going to go over the two different fridges and freezers that I have on board El Jaleo, and I did have a warranty issue with one of the two, and they cost vastly different amounts of money. So I kind of want to talk about that if you're looking for an electric freezer or fridge for your boat. So we might as well go ahead and get right into it. So grab a drink, climb aboard, and let's get going. Hey y'all, I do have to apologize for a couple of things right off top. One is I'm just getting over a cold and my head is a big pile of mucus, so if I have to mute this a few times to clear my throat, if you hear any pauses, that's what I'm doing. And the other thing is my mom's dogs are freaks and they bark at everything, and today is a very barky day, so if a bird flies by the window they bark, if a car drives by they bark, and I've tried to record this like 18 times and it always gets interrupted, so I'm just gonna have to roll with it at this point. So if you hear some barking, I apologize. There are 5 dogs in the house. It's gonna happen. There's nothing I can do about it, so I'm sorry. I have 2 freezers on board El Jaleo. One of them is a Dometic and one is a Domendi. The Dometic is actually a dual zone, so I do have 3 different compartments in total between the two, and I can configure them all as either fridges or freezers or any permutation thereof, so it's very versatile. Both fridges and freezers, they both run off the same power. They can either run off of 12 or 24 volt or anywhere from 110 to 240 AC. So they're both extremely versatile from a power supply issue, and they both have battery protection modes. They both have the same 3 modes. So if you're using your fridge freezer for camping and you're just hooking it up to a car battery, you can put it on the highest protection mode, and that'll preserve your car battery. So when you go to start your car, you don't have a dead battery. And you can use different protection modes based upon the size of your battery bank. I've got a very large battery bank. I never worry about it running out, so I've got it on the lowest protection mode, but it's nice that it's there in case, you need it for something. If you're using it in a van, you may use an intermediate protection load if you have some sort of a battery bank. So very versatile from that standpoint. They both actually have Bluetooth enabled apps that run them. So I can connect to them with my phone, change the temperatures for any one of the compartments. They're both very similar. They both have tracking features, so it'll show you temperatures over time, that kind of stuff, which is very nice. Now they were first off, they are different sizes. So the one is a Dometic CF S03E40. So it is dual zone. It's got 2 compartments and it is 75 liters. Now the Domendi is only 1 compartment and it is 54 quarts, which is roughly 51 liters. So it's about 2/3 the size of the total capacity of the Dometic. So it's the biggest compartment of the 3, but the other one has 2 slightly smaller compartments with a higher total volume. Now they did cost very different amounts. The Dometic was $1,250 and the Domendi was only $250. I started off with the Dometic and it works great. Now I love to grill and I don't get to the store often. When I leave, I might not get, there might be a 3 or 4 month span before I can make it to a store to reprovision. So I like to bring a lot of stuff with me. So, and I like junk food. I have a convection oven. I love pizza. I'm not ashamed to admit every now and again I like a corn dog and some tater tots, So I like to have a little bit of junk food with me. Now, I don't eat that stuff very often, But, you know, when you're in the mood for a corn dog, you just want a corn dog. Anyway, so I started off with the Dometic. I had that for a year and a half. Then I started looking at different options for a second freezer so I could put some more meat and junk food in it. And I found on Amazon this Domendi, and it looks like a decent freezer, and I thought, you know, I don't want to spend another $1,250 on a second freezer. This one's just going to be for junk food. If it breaks, you know what, that's on me. I bought a cheap piece of junk and it broke, and I'm okay with that. And I've had the Dometic for 2.5 years, and I've had the Domendi running for a year, and they run constantly all the time, even in the summertime when I'm not at the boat. The freezer is constantly running there. I've got it full of stuff, so when I go over to work on the boat, you know, I can make myself a lunch and I can have a cool beverage. So they're both running all of the time. They get heavy use. You know, they're my heavy duty full-time fridges and freezers. And after 2 years, the Dometic actually broke, and the Domendi after 1 year is still going strong. Now, I can't say that the Domendi is better than the Dometic or vice versa. You know, things break, and when they break, you know, it's just you can't say the entire line is crap because it broke. You know, stuff just goes wrong every now and again. And this, when the Dometic broke, it actually broke in a very favorable way. So typically, when only one of the two units is running, like when I get, you know, when I can consolidate as I consume stuff, I'll actually turn off the Domendi from time to time until I can refill it. There's no point in having it on when there's nothing in there if I can consolidate it all in the Dometic. So I actually noticed typically overnight, and it varies, you know, depending upon time of year, of course, because the days are different lengths. The sun is a different height in the sky, and, you know, yada, yada, yada. But typically I'll lose between 6 and 8% of my battery bank overnight, and that's running the fridge, freezer, and, you know, there's other stuff. I've got the mast, you know, the lights on outside and stuff. So it's not all the freezer or the Dometic, but, you know, that's a good part of it. So it's one of the higher amp draws. So typically I would lose between 6 and 8% of my battery bank overnight, and then I'd replenish it the next day through solar, wind, and whatnot. And I noticed I believe I started noticing it in late February, early March of this last year in 2023, that overnight I began losing more and more of my battery bank, and I couldn't quite figure it out. I didn't know what was going on, and it was tricky because the food in the Dometic was still good. Like, it wasn't getting too hot, it was actually getting too cold. And it took me about 3 weeks to figure out where all the power was going. So I have an external thermometer, and I put it in both compartments just to check them. And the fridge was holding steady exactly where it should have been. I think I have it set on 38. And the freezer portion, I keep it usually set around 10 degrees. And it was actually getting lower and lower. So every day it would be a little bit lower. It'd be -4, -6, -8. So it was actually over freezing the food, or it was, you know, keeping it at a lower temperature than what I was asking it to. And that meant that the compressor was running more and more and more constantly to keep the temperature lower and lower and lower. And towards the end, it became very obvious what was going on. I had already figured it out at that point, but then the thermostat actually started to climb in the freezer section. So it was starting to go up and up and up. It would show 32, 36, 38, and I would check it because I had the external thermometer inside, and it would still say -4, and everything was frozen solid. So I knew it was good, but I knew I had a thermostat issue. And towards the end, right before I sent back the Dometic for warranty, it was actually showing 84 degrees in the freezer compartment, it was -6 degrees physically inside, and the compressor was just running 24/7. So it was chewing through a lot of electricity. Now, the one thing that was really nice about Dometic was I contacted them. I'm like, look, I bought this 2.5 years ago. I don't know if it's in warranty. I figured there's probably a 1-year warranty, so I'm probably screwed, but can I just buy a thermostat from you so I can change out this thermostat and see if I can get it working again? And they're like, well, it's under full warranty for 5 years. And I'm like, oh, well, that's pretty awesome. So, it was a pretty painless process. I took a video showing the issue. I put the thermometer inside, showed it was -6. Thermostat was showing 84, it was running constantly. It was absolutely no hassle at all. Their customer service sent me a brand new one. It arrived on a truck. I packaged up the old one so they could, try and troubleshoot what had gone wrong with it. And I sent it back. Freight was all paid. I didn't have to pay anything out of pocket. It took, the whole process took maybe a week. It was completely no problem. Now, luckily, it happened towards the end of the trip this last season, so that I could, I'm at my mom's, so I can send it back and receive it, no problem. But if I was in, the Caribbean or in France or in Germany or, anywhere, Australia, whatever, and I was at sea, what would happen? I don't know. It wouldn't be as good of a situation, obviously. As for me, it was no big deal because I was coming back here anyways. I have the power. But if you're threading the needle with power on your battery bank and something like that goes wrong, you might have to shut down that extra compartment and lose some food. And that would be better than the alternative of losing power to your navigation and other stuff. Sometimes you have to decide to do what you need to do, but it would have been a less desirable outcome than what it was for me. Now, do I look at Dometic in a bad light? Absolutely not. Stuff goes wrong, electronics fail, a thermostat broke in this case. I don't think that's the end of the world. Do I think the Domendi is a better product than the Dometic? Absolutely not. Between the two freezers, I like the Dometic more. The Domendi, it's fine. It's got a magnetic closure on the lid. That's the only thing I don't like about it. The Dometic has better seals on the lids, and the lids actually latch shut. I like that feature. I don't know why. I just don't like the magnetic latch on the Domendi. The Domendi's worked fine. I'm ecstatic with it. For $250, I've got something that has performed flawlessly. It's been over a year. I feel like even if it fails tomorrow, I got my money's worth out of it. I don't know if that's a sad metric in today's world or not. But anyway, it has surpassed my expectations, just based strictly on the price. So I'm very happy with it. I love my Dometic. Between the two, I prefer the Dometic. If I had to start all over again, would I buy two Domendis? Absolutely not. I think the Dometic is worth the money. The warranty is obviously worth, if that was only a 1-year warranty, I would have been out $1,250, but it's a 5-year warranty, and no one gives out a 5-year warranty anymore, so that's phenomenal. For something very minor that went wrong, I probably could have fixed the thermostat if I was able to get the part, so I don't want to come across as being overly harsh to Dometic, saying they're overpriced junk, because they're not. I love the 75DZ. I'm glad I have it. I would buy it again. I've just been very pleased with the Domendi as well. So, and that was only $250. I can't tell you which is better. I can't tell you which is worse. One failed, one didn't. I don't see that as an indictment of the one versus the other. So, I don't know what else to say about that. I'll just leave it at that, and I'm just glad that I've got storage, extra storage, so I can bring a few corn dogs with and smother them in ketchup. All right, guys, I know this, I kind of mailed this one in. It's just a big diatribe about fridges and freezers. And next week we'll get back. I'll have more time to put this video together. So I'll put a little more TLC into it. And yeah, I hope you all are well. And that's all we have time for this week. I'm looking forward to getting back in the water tomorrow, and by our next video we'll be back on the road, although I'm sure I'll be showing you some stuff from back when we were on land. Anyhow, I would like to give a massive shout out to my Patreon crew. Without your guys' support, I definitely would not make these videos, and my Patreon crew is Joan and Juddy Judnick, Val and Chris Elkhorn, Denise and Eli Sackett, Sherry Erickson, Deb Shaw, and Matthew Spotton. Thank you guys so very much. Your support really, really does mean the world to me. I do have one legacy patron member, and her name is Joan Lindbow. Unfortunately, she has passed on, but she will live on in our hearts forever. We miss you, Joan. If you do like our videos, please... Did I screw that up? Normally I'm on autopilot during this, but let's see, we went through the patrons. No, I think that's right. Yeah, no, we're good. So, oh no, I did forget the part about if you want to join our patron crew. That's where I was going. If you do want to join our patron crew, which would be awesome, there is a link in the description down below, and that'll take you to our Patreon page where there's hundreds of videos and photos that show you live, real-time updates, show you what's going on, where we're at. And you'd help support the channel, which would be awesome. If you do like our videos, please like, comment, and subscribe. That doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us out more than you'll ever know. Alrighty, I hope you all are well, and we'll see you next week.